Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is a very warm Saturday, April 12th, 2025. And it's going to be about 25, 26 degrees today, which is, I'm not sure at this time of the year is normal, but it is an absolutely stunning day. And you can probably see the sun beating down. You can probably see it in the background there. No, you probably can't. It's on face track, so it's tracking me. But on this day, it's not boxing related, this one, but still a very, very important part of our history. The Titanic actually set out on this day in 1912 from Southampton to New York, and obviously it didn't get there. It sunk a couple of days later, and I'm sure you've all seen the movie, you know what happens. But that's what happened on this day in April, or on April 12th. In the boxing world, back in 1980, a few things actually happened on this day. I'll go through them. But in 1980, the great Mexican Salvador Sanchez defended his WBC featherweight title by defeating American Ruben Castillo on points over 15 rounds. That was in Tucson, Arizona. And can you believe that Salvador Sanchez died at 23 years of age? Could have been one of the greats. Still ranked, actually. A lot of people actually still say he's the best Mexican of all time. Pretty hard to do that at 23 years of age. But even in his short time, he had those 2 wins over Danny Little Red Lopez, Azuma Nelson, who went on to be an all-time great himself. And probably the biggest one was the stoppage of Wilfredo Gomez, who at the time was an absolute wrecking ball. And Salvador Sanchez took him out in one of those great Mexican-Puerto Rican rivalry fights. I can't remember, was that that might have been 1981 or 82, I think it was, when he beat Wilfredo Gomez. But that's what happened on this day with Salvador Sanchez. 1981, Joe Louis passed away at the age of 66. Didn't lose in 12 years between 1938 and 1950, and made 25 successful defenses of the world heavyweight title, and obviously in the top sort of 3 or 4 pound for pound, well, not pound for pound, heavyweight fighters of all time. In 1996, American, well, we all know he's American, Pernell Whitaker defeated Puerto Rican Wilfredo Rivera by decision at the Atlantis Casino in Quebecoy Bay, okay, on the island of San Martin. So I didn't know that. Didn't know he fought over there. And he defended his WBC welterweight title in that fight. Now, still with Pernell Whitaker, a year later, on the exact same day, he would lose to the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. That was also for that WBC welterweight title. That was at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. So one of the, well, was it a controversial fight? I thought a draw might have been the correct outcome, but look, I'm actually pretty happy you get a result. I don't like draws, but on the night, really hard fight to score. But you got to give both guys credit. Oscar De La Hoya and Pernell Whitaker, they always fought the absolute best. And especially in the case of Oscar, he just didn't care. He went up and down in weight and just fought the absolute best. And no matter what you think of Oscar today, you've got to give him that respect. And Pernell Whitaker, well, he probably just made it look so easy so often. So, you know, one of the greatest, and the late Pernell Whitaker. So, another one we lost way too early, Sweet Pea, but what a champion he was. And then in 2008, in Tampa, Florida, Chad Dawson defeated Jamaican Glenn Johnson by decision to defend his WBC light heavyweight title. Now, on to the Aussie stuff. Now, last night, I didn't see it, but Desley Robinson defended her WBO IBF middleweight titles with a win over Chloe Chaos. Now, I didn't see the fight. I was working, and I think I mentioned yesterday I wasn't too keen on forking out $40 for a club show in Melbourne. I don't know. I like to support Aussie boxing, but when you're charging $40, that's stuff that's like big time boxing is worth the pay-per-view. So all the best to Sam LeBrun and all the other promoters out there, but I think to get people on board, they probably need to be a bit cheaper. I know they've got bills to pay and purses to fork out for and everything else, but I don't know, maybe, as I said yesterday, just maybe give you your thoughts, what you think. Would you pay $40 for a domestic sort of club show in Melbourne? I don't know, but on the undercard to that, by the way, Joel Camilleri, I, again, didn't see it. I'll see if I can get some highlights off YouTube or Facebook or whatever it might be. But Kamikayo with a first round knockout of his opponent. I haven't got his name here. By all accounts, I did see Joel's post on Facebook a few hours back. And what did he say here on his social media? I'm a realist, and tonight's win wasn't one to brag about, but I did what I had to do with what I had in front of me. I think he was a late replacement, this guy. A lot that goes on behind the scenes that you guys don't know about that goes towards making a fight happen. Hope this video helps you understand. I won't play the video, of course. Thanks to everyone who supports me and he wants the big fights. Yeah, well, if Kamikayo's got to almost make a statement in defence of his opponent, yeah, it couldn't have been too pretty. But a first round knockout for Joel Camilleri, and I think Victor Nagby won on the undercard as well. I don't know. I'll have another chance to sort of check right through the results to just sort of the main ones. But good on Desley Robinson for defending that title over Chloe Chaos. And she's one of my favourite female fighters, is Desley Robinson. Just an honest, hard-working lady who always comes to fight, always in top shape, and always gives the fans their money's worth. So I hope she goes on to have some big fights against some of the real elites of the division. I'm not sure Chloe Chaos was probably in that category, but you can only defend against who you're supposed to defend against, and she did that. And let's hope she goes on and, as I said, get some big fights with some of those other good ladies out there. I'm not sure whether, I think it's Shay Keneally. She might be light heavyweight, isn't she, I think. So, yeah, all the best to Desley Robinson, one of the good ones. All right, this weekend, I think that was it for the Aussie boxing. Yes, it was. Short and sharp with the Aussie boxing today. The international scene. This weekend, we've got Jaron Boots Ennis up against Iamantis Stanionis for the WBA IBF welterweight titles and the Ring Magazine belt as well. So I just watched the weigh-in just a little bit ago before I came on air. This way, man. There's a dog coming that way. Let's go this way. And both guys looking in good shape. There was doubts about Ennis's physical well-being with trying to make the weight this time. Looked like he did it quite comfortably. Of course, they do weigh in probably 3 or 4 hours before the ceremonial weigh-in, so maybe he's had a little bit of time to rehydrate a little bit and feels a little bit better about himself. But this is going to be a tough one. Going to be a really good fight, I reckon. I think Stanionis, this might be a little bit closer than what a lot of people think. I've seen a little bit of Stanionis. I watched just a couple of his highlights over the last couple of days, and look, he's really a tough inside fighter. He can rip and hook and go to the body really, really well. Jaron or Boots Ennis, look, like a lot of these American fighters, very slick. He switches between orthodox and southpaw. The only issue I've got with Ennis is that when he tends to punch, sometimes he tends to leave himself open. And his last fight, what was it, the Chukshakon or whatever his name was, the Russian or whatever he was, did catch him a few times and actually rocked him on one occasion. So I think if Stanionis, who can punch, can get inside and time his punches well, he could actually give Ennis some problems. Now I'm still going to back Boots Ennis, probably maybe late round stoppage or decision, but he's got to be careful because, as I said, Stanionis can fight. Look, his level of opposition hasn't been great, but he likes to get inside, and what I like about him is neat. He gets inside, he tucks the elbows in and gets that chin down and the hands nice and tight, and then he goes to work inside. And that's where I reckon he can maybe catch Boots Ennis, who, as I said, does get a little bit loose sometimes. And even when he's switching between stances, whether that gives him an opportunity to nail him as well. But as I said, I think it's going to be a lot closer than what a lot of people think. Boots Ennis, again, I think wins, but it's going to be a tough one. And I did see that Abdullah Mason is on the undercard as well. I think that was him. I saw weigh in. So, yeah, good card. That's on DAZN tomorrow. So I will be watching that. There's a few DAZN events coming up, actually. The problem is a lot of them are in the middle of the night for us here in Australia. Although, what is it? The Canelo and Skull fight is May the 4th, I think it is. Yes, and the Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia card is the 3rd. And they're both on at 9 o'clock in the morning. Apparently, Canelo and Skull are going to be fighting at like 6 o'clock in the morning Saudi time. So we can go back to North America. Now, normally it's the other way around. They'll just put the fights on whenever it suits. and it's up to the rest of the world to tune in when it's, well, you know, whatever time it is around the world. But apparently because it's Cinco de Mayo weekend and obviously Canelo, Mexican, all the rest of it, they're going to go back. So the fight card will be back in America, I think at 8 or 9 o'clock, and Mexico as well. So they're going to fight at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So good luck with that, Canelo and William Scull. Now, the Ennis and Stanionis fight, this is the other thing I was going to actually talk about. It's in Atlantic City. Now, this is the first major fight in Atlantic City for 11 years since, was it Bernard Hopkins and Kovalev back in, 2014 it was. So it's amazing the rich history that Atlantic City has. Now, if you weren't sort of familiar with Atlantic City, if you're a fan of just the last few years, you've got to check out some of the best fights in history took place in Atlantic City. Now we go back to right back to Sugar Ray Robinson actually fought at the Atlantic City Convention Centre. This is the big room there. I think they've had maybe some small fights, but this is the first big fight in 11 years. Now some of the fights had taken place there, as I said, Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson had some of his biggest fights in Atlantic City. Now this is back in the late 80s when Donald Trump had a big say in Atlantic City. He had casinos and all that. I'm pretty sure he still does. But he really made a push to drag away all the big fights from Las Vegas to Atlantic City, and he succeeded. Just like most things that Donald Trump sort of does, love him or hate him, he gets the job done on most occasions, and he did succeed because he had fights like Tyson Spinks was there. I remember Holyfield and Foreman was there, and a lot of other Mike Tyson fights as well. But some of the other big fights in history that have been there was a couple listed that I saw. My favourite one, Roberto Duran, Iran Barkley on the boardwalk of Atlantic City back in 1989. One of the best fights I've ever seen, but also one of the best comebacks I've ever seen as well from Duran, who was on the scrap heap. Upset Iran Barkley, who was coming off the win over Thomas Hearns. There was Lennox Lewis, Shannon Briggs. Lennox Lewis, I think he stopped Shannon Briggs in 5 or 6 rounds. The third Gaddy Ward fight was in Atlantic City as well. And I don't need to really go into that, what a fight that was. All fights, all 3 of them. Kelly Public, Jermaine Taylor, the first fight. You remember Kelly Public came from behind to beat Jermaine Taylor. And then they've listed here as the number one was Bernard Hopkins and Kelly Public. They're probably the best fights I've seen, but I think the more memorable ones were, those Tyson fights. And I still remember the Tyson Spinks fight. Was only fought once, of course, but the walkout from Mike Tyson, all you could hear was just the clanging of chains and a bit of sort of bass music in the back. It was pretty eerie. I remember watching the fight at Festival Hall in Melbourne. That was probably the first sort of big fight I'd seen. It was on closed circuit, and I reckon there was probably 1,000 people there to watch the fight. It was massive. And of course, I only went one round, but what a round it was. So that's Atlantic City. And as I said, like if you're not familiar with the boxing city, then do your research, because it's got a long history, has Atlantic City. And I'm glad that someone's put it back on the map, and they're going to have this big fight there. And let's hope we see some more. And we do tend to see a little bit of it these days, aren't we? I mean, these big fights are all over the world at the moment. So why not get back to Atlantic City and put that city back on the map. Now, some other news. It was not really news, but it's just something I saw, and it was Teddy Atlas. He did an interview the other day, a podcast. Come on, mate, we'll go this way. Come on, we'll cross the road. Come on. It's giving me the tug this morning. And Teddy Atlas did an interview, and it was actually good because he listed his top 10 pound-for-pound fighters of all time. And this is always one that always gets people talking, doesn't it? Gets them debating. And one of the first shows we actually ever did on this channel was the top 10 pound-for-pound list. And I wouldn't mind revisiting it, actually. But it's always good to see other people's lists. Now, this is a list I'm going to give you from Teddy Atlas, and I just want you can make your own opinions of it. Now, Teddy Atlas is a very, very renowned boxing historian, don't get me wrong, but I must admit I did sort of raise my eyebrow when I saw it, but then again, I'm sure everyone will say it with my list as well. But this is who he had as his top 10. Number 10, he had Roberto Duran. Number 9, he had Sugar Ray Leonard. Number 8, he had Joe Louis. Number 7, he had Harry Greb. Number 6, Benny Leonard. Willie Pep, number 5. Number 4 was Muhammad Ali. Number 3 was Sam Langford. Number 2 was Sugar Ray Robinson, and number 1 was Henry Armstrong. Now, out of all that, I'm not going to argue with sort of the list. The only one that you probably might want to do some homework on is Sam Langford. Now, I don't know a hell of a lot about him. Yes, I've heard of him. I know about his resume and all that sort of stuff, but I don't think I've ever really seen a lot of footage of him fighting. So this is the problem with a lot of these not overseas fighters, these fighters from yesteryear. You don't see a lot of them. You see the resumes, and I think the legend sort of grows as time goes on. So it's really hard to, I think, to do a top 10 that way. I mean, someone like Harry Greb, I think we've got enough sort of information about him to have him up there, but some of these other ones I'm not so sure. I'll just quickly give my top 10, and I just quickly did this morning, by the way. And the thing is with the list, I don't think you could probably have a definitive 1 to 10. I think maybe a top 1, 2, even 3 might be definitive, but the rest of them you can almost just say, hey, this is the group of the other 7 or 8, because you try and do it, it's extremely hard. So I had, what have we got? Number 10, I had Joe Louis. Now, sorry, I'll just preempt this with eliminating a lot of those really old fighters from, I'm talking 100 years ago. It's really tough. So I've just sort of gone on the ones that I know, I've seen obviously the resumes, but that can also be doctored or misinterpreted over the years as well. But the ones that I haven't seen the video of or a lot of, again, I've just put a line through them. So I've got number 10 as Joe Louis. I've got number 9, Julio Cesar Chavez. I've got number 8, Manny Pacquiao. Number 7, I have Henry Armstrong. Number 6, I've actually got Floyd Mayweather Jr., which might cause a little bit of angst, but I'm just calling it the way I see it. Sugar Ray Leonard at number 5. Number 4, I've got Harry Greb. Number 3, I have Roberto Duran. Number 2, I have Muhammad Ali, and I have Sugar Ray Robinson at number 1. So again, it's really hard to say, well, this guy is definitely number 5 and this guy is definitely number 6. I think it's along the lines of, all right, this is my 1 or 2 or 3, but the rest of them, this is just an overall sort of annex of fighters that I have. So how do you see it? So I'll just quickly reel them off again. Number 10, Joe Louis. Number 9, Julio Cesar Chavez. Number 8, Manny Pacquiao. Number 7, Henry Armstrong. Number 6, Floyd Mayweather Jr. Number 5, Sugar Ray Leonard. Number 4, Harry Greb. Number 3, Roberto Duran. Number 2, Muhammad Ali. And number 1, Sugar Ray Robinson. Now, you might say, well, there's a heavy leaning towards current day fighters or fighters have just retired in the last sort of few years. But I'm just, again, calling it the way I see it. I mean, Manny Pacquiao went through, what 8 world titles. Floyd Mayweather, 50-0, and cleaned out everyone, regardless whether you like him or not, or you think that he fought people at certain times. Doesn't matter. All the great fighters did it. Floyd Mayweather is just a modern day fighter who gets scrutinised more than others. Can't argue with his resume. He beat everybody. Of course, what are the other ones you might raise your eyebrow about? Chavez, a great Mexican fighter, great all-time, not Mexican fighter, great fighter. Again, fought and cleaned out the divisions of about 3 or 4 divisions, and just a great fighter. So let me know your thoughts about that anyway, but I know it will definitely raise some angst. Now, what I'm also going to do, this is also giving me the idea, I was actually thinking about this the other day. You would have seen last week I did Alexander Usyk with some dream fights over some other great heavyweights of all time. If you haven't checked it out, it's on this channel. I did it on Wednesday. I'm going to do another one next week. I'm doing Terence Crawford next week, and you should see some of the matchups he's got. But what I'm going to do is a special that I'm going to go through the best pound-for-pound fights of all time per division, in my opinion. So I'm going to match all the best fighters ever. I'm going to do, in my opinion, the best heavyweight dream fight of all time, light heavyweight, super middleweight, whatever, right down, and we're going to do the best dream fight in each division. So if you've got some ideas, let me know. You should see some of the fights that you can sort of come up with. It's a really good idea. Do it yourself. It's an interesting sort of project to do, is to go down and just go through who you think the best all-time heavyweight fight would be. And as I said, light heavyweight, super middleweight, even cruiserweight. I can probably give that one away. Come here, man. Morning. How you doing? I can probably give it away now that the cruiserweight one for me is Evander Holyfield, Alexander Usyk. So there's a little bit of a taste of what I'm going to do. So that's going to be the cruiserweight all-time best pound-for-pound fight. And it's an easy one, let's face it, but that's why I'm saying it. So it's Holyfield and Usyk, and then you can go down all the divisions, and gets a little bit tougher in the lighter weight divisions, the sort of welterweight up to middleweight divisions, because there's so many great fighters. But have a crack at it. But I'm going to do a standalone show where I'm going to pick the best dream fight per division of all time. So send me some ideas and let us know what you think. But guys, that's going to do it for today. As I said, it's going to be a warm one. Neil's already lying down looking for a bit of a spell. So I'll get him home and get him some water and get on with the day. So guys, have a great Saturday. We'll catch you tomorrow.